Hey there, fellow wanderers, and welcome back to the Wandering Gypsy RV Life podcast. I'm your host, Stan Cromlish, author of the Rolling Smooth RV book series, coming to you from somewhere out on the open road with my trusty companions, Bertie B and Rosie. This podcast is where the RV lifestyle meets real stories from the road, the lessons learned along the way, and conversations with people who live this life in their very own unique ways. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's see where the road takes us today. I am here today with Gil and Steve Raye, FRVA members and ambassadors, and we're going to have a candid conversation about the Family RV Association. Gil, Steve, welcome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much, Dan.
Happy to be here.
Great. So how long have y'all been FRVA members?
We started in 2018, and for the last 3 years, we've been on the road full time.
Great. So how has the FRVA helped your full-time RV life, Gil?
I think most of it is the camaraderie and the friendships. We've met people all around the country that we can stop and visit. If we have any questions, we can call people to help us out with different things. And it's discounts for different things that we can take advantage of while we're traveling. But I really think the best thing is the friendships that we have made.
Well, that's kind of why y'all are at
That is.
Kickback Ranch and Event Center here in Raymer, Alabama.
If it
Y'all
wasn't-
made it a point to stop and visit me, and I certainly do appreciate it. And you're right. The camaraderie and the friendships that we have gained. In 22, I met Steve in Tucson taking the RV Basics training course. And the friendship has just grown from there. So, Steve, talk a little bit about the FRVA's education.
Well, since FRVA is a nonprofit, major part of the charter is education. And FRVA is the place to go, whether you're thinking of purchasing an RV and get all the right information and the good information, or if you've just started, how to use your equipment properly and safely. And those who've been doing it for many years, we like to make sure they're doing it right. And we also get a lot of good information from them as experience for the new timers. So it really works out well as a group all around.
Yes. I know some of my takeaways were when I first started in 2020, I didn't know a black tank from a fresh tank, nor did I know 30 amp from 50 amp power. But that RV Basics training program, plus some of the learning that the FRVA has on their website, that education, along with articles in the magazine, the FRVA truly is by RVers for RVers. Would you agree, Gil?
Oh, definitely. And I was going to add to, you said there's a lot of information on the magazine, but once you join FRVA also, you now have archive to all the past magazines and all the different kinds of articles. So you can do all kinds of research if you're purchasing something for your RV, or maybe want to go to a campground, see if there's an article about that. And then the education is in person too, not just for taking the RV basics class, but go to one of the conventions, or go to one of the area rallies, or even a lot of the local chapter rallies. They have seminars there. And the nice thing that I tell people when I'm recruiting is, if you're not an experienced camper, go to one of the local rallies, join a club near you, because what's nice is there's experienced RVers there, so they can answer all your questions. And that's one of the great things, that nobody's afraid to help you out if you have a question. People are there to lend a hand. There are many times I lose Steve because somebody has a question and I have no idea where he goes, because He wants to go help them out.
So speaking of that, I can attest to having a friend in Steve. While we were at Gear after a discussion, he helped me install my gas stop and my stay and play device on my propane tank. Yes, for all of you out there, Steve was an master RV technician for a lot of years.
A lot of years. I like you say it that way than how many. Appreciate that. Fortunately, the amount of time I spent out there fixing other people's units allowed me a lot of good advice to everybody else that I was working with. We finally, in the last 3 years, have been able to put all of that to work for ourselves, which is nice.
Right.
But it's always very hard to say, no, I can't help you. I used to do that. So that's why I tend to be off someplace and she's trying to find me, probably at your unit or somebody else's.
Yep, exactly. So we've got a big week coming up next week. I know that you're going to be running the FRVA store at the 112th Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes, FRVA International Convention. And that is in Perry, Georgia, March 18th through the 21st. And there are still day passes, and you can still get registered for a day pass if you're in the Perry, Georgia area. Steve or Gil, do y'all want to talk about what you can expect at the FRVA convention?
Well, what I tell people when I'm talking about FRVA is expect to be there with at least 1,000 of your best friends, because like the name says, family, we're all there as family. Everybody is there with a smile, always saying hello to everybody. So that's where I mentioned the friendships and the camaraderie. But there's so much there to offer. If you're bored, that's because you're sitting inside your RV and not getting out there. We have over 100 seminars. They have educational seminars. They have informative seminars. Vendors are there giving seminars. We have a room full of vendors, probably about 100 vendors coming there also. So you can get things if you need them for your RV. Sometimes just fun things also, if you want something. They offer crafts. They offer some social events. We have coffee and donuts every morning. We have a ladies' luncheon. There's entertainment at night, and we have some big names coming this year because we're celebrating the beach theme. So there's a Jimmy Buffett cover band, and I honestly forgot the others, but
it's written down. We can look that up.
That is true. So thank goodness that it's written down. But one of the nice things they added last year, and they're expanding this year, is downtown Perry, where Perry, the town, opens their doors to us. We have music down there for the evening. The restaurants will be open. There'll be food trucks, and it's just a nice night just to get out and just explore, and again say hello to more people.
That's, Steve, that's it. It's the camaraderie. It's over 100 seminars. If you're paying attention to, if you're an RVer, you probably know RV There Yet TV. Kevin and Patrice McCabe will have a lot of seminars every day in the Georgia Grown building, which is where I will be set up selling my Rolling Smooth series of books. Steve and Gil Steve has read my books. Gil has started reading my books. But a lot of the information in those books, Steve, came from what you and Gary and Eric and Brad taught me in RV basics. I expanded on some of it, but that education has helped me tremendously.
Education is something you get and you never lose.
Right.
You can't put a price on that.
No, you can't.
Because you never know when you need it. It's nice. Um, the RV basics classes, we start off with just that. The basics, you need electricity, and most people use propane. We start with those two classes, and then we add on to it how to use appliances, how to properly level, how to drive safely. All this comes from starting point. And whether say you've been doing it for a long time or just starting out, there's good information there for you.
I mean, I was at the Penn Coachman rally at Pocono, and I can't remember who it was. And on our podcast, we do not name names, but there was someone who took RV basics 5 times.
We have somebody else at the last RV Basics who was a 6th time, and we kid about it that he wants to go for his doctorate in RV Basics. Very happy to have him on board.
Amen.
One thing is, you're always learning. Even with all the years that you've been doing your RV work, you say you're still learning, and you have to, because things change also, and you're going to forget some things. So it's good to refresh your mind.
So
People think that I'm just teaching something, or the other instructors are teaching something. But as Gil says, when I go to a class and I'm teaching something, I'm learning something back from experienced people also. So it's always a two-way street.
right. Because y'all know I fought the roof leak on. I fought it for 3 weeks.
Yep.
I've learned something this week that you can never apply too much self-leveling caulk.
Unless it starts dripping down the side of the coach. That's a little bit too much. But
Right.
up there, it's good.
I never asked, does it add much weight to your RV? Because you got to watch your weight limits there.
Yes, you do. I'm pretty sure 7 tubes of caulk was probably about 3 pounds, Steve. Maybe 4.
So as we always know, you can't go overboard. What are you getting rid of?
Well, not the cameras.
Not the cameras.
No, not the computer, but we'll get rid of something.
Tonight.
We'll get rid of the sofa, the love seat
Nah, I
there.
think not. I think not.
But no, so to me, FRV, I'm looking so forward to next week, because I'll get to see 1,000 of my new best friends.
That's exactly it. And you have to be open to talk to people, and you never know who you're going to get to meet, because again, there are people that we have seen from the conventions that we find out we're in the same state or the same city, and we get together just because we met them at the convention, because one of us said hi to each other and we started talking. And you always have something in common because you're all there with the RV. So at least you have that in common, but you always find something else in common.
Steve, talk about your towable rodeo that you're doing next week.
Well, FRVA originally was called Family Motor Coach Association, and it came from back in 1963. People that took old buses and coaches and turned them into RVs. They had a vision and said, we should make a club. And it turned out being Family Motor Coach Association. And it stayed that name until last year. However, in 2017, they allowed towables, not just motorized. And it took a few years to the name to reflect the allowance of towables. I'm on the committee for towables to bring more towables in, because a lot of people don't realize that. And there's a lot of things we have to do, maybe changing directions for when you enter a rally or whatever, and wording and advertising. All of that is very good. It has to get done. But I liked something that was a little more exciting. So I decided to put together a rodeo.
Okay.
And when I offered that idea to many people, they said, whoa, I'm not taking my motorhome into a demolition derby. I said, no, nothing like that. We're going to take a golf cart. We're going to have a trailer on back. We have a course laid out. It's an obstacles course you have to go through. I'm going to ask you to back in one way and then back in the other way with the assistance of your co-pilot and finish the course.
So when I think about rodeo, I rode bucking horses and bulls back 35
Which
years ago.
surprised us a lot when you told us the first time.
Yes. So when I think about rodeo, I'm thinking of horses, bulls, calf roping, team roping, barrel racing, bulldogging, but this is with a golf cart. And I know I've been kidding you all weekend that I travel solo, but you said in order for me to enter the towable rodeo, I had to have a co-pilot.
Which you can have when you get to a campground. It doesn't always have to be the person traveling with you.
Okay.
But it's always nice to have that second set of eyes to make sure you're not going to hit something or somebody.
Well, knowing that, we went to the Alabama Safari Park, and it was pretty tight yesterday a few times.
It was nice having multiple sets of eyes.
Yes.
And the cameras.
And the camera, yes.
Yes. But you're doing the towable rodeo. You're doing the FRVA store. We've also got the chapter fair. Let's touch on the FRVA chapter system, because chapters are really the lifeblood of the organization.
They are. And that's one of the things when we're at the RV shows and we're recruiting people, we encourage people to join chapters because it does give you a different kind of friendship. You get to spend more time with these people. There's two different types of chapters. There's local chapters. It's based on where you live. So like you mentioned Penn Coachman before, that is for us, our local chapter. We're from New Jersey originally, the chapter's in Pennsylvania, and we do 6 rallies a year. And it might be only 10, 20 RVs versus our Pocono rally, which we have over 100 RVs at. But it's just people coming together just to have a good time. We do social things together. We do a lot of meals together. You're there with your friends. In the good weather, when we're allowed to have campfires, we have campfires at night. And it doesn't matter who you go and sit with because you're still sitting with people that you're friends with. And then again, it's good. It's fun to see them at our area rallies, which are bigger, or our international conventions, because a lot of people go to those. But then there's also chapters which are special interest chapters. So people from all over the country could be part of your chapter. The one that we're going to be joining with next week, we're going to what they call a tri-chapter rally with 3 chapters. As full-timers, we're members of the full-timers chapter. So we'll spend time with the full-timers. We also, at that rally, will be the Elks International chapter and the Military Veterans chapter. So we just, again, we're there to do maybe some sightseeing out in the area based on where the convention is, do meals together, and again, just spend time together with people that you like and people that you get to meet, but people with the same interests. So the chapter really is the heart of the organization, because that's where you really get to meet people that you see on a regular basis.
And one of those specialty chapters, Steve, is the Rambling Pushers chapter. Every year in April, tell me about what they do for one of their chapter rallies.
Rambling Pushers started out being Holiday Rambler diesel pusher motorhomes, but realizing that there was more than just one brand out there, they allow everybody to come. In fact, this past year, they also allow not just diesels, but gasoline engines. And they call it a maintenance session. It's a week long of seminars. Service work is available on site. And it's so interesting and full of knowledge that you don't always get to find when you're looking for that knowledge. And here it is right in front of you. Along with the great entertainment, the great information, they've got food is great.
They feed us breakfast and dinner, I think, every day.
Yeah. And it's a good organization, a good chapter to get involved with, because they're talking more about the chassis part of it, where RV Basics was talking a little bit more about the living part of it. So getting both, you're going to cover yourself nicely.
And I think at the chapter fair next week, I'm going to be joining the full-timers chapter.
Yay,
because
good.
I am a full-timer. and I will be joining the Ramblin' Pushers. Don't know if I will make that rally in April this year, but I will put it on the agenda for sometime in the future.
And you mentioned the 2 chapters because you're already a member of a few other chapters. The nice thing is you can join as many chapters as you want. I forget how many. I think we might be members of about 5 chapters. But even though we've been going to the convention for a few years, there's a few chapters that I know I want to go talk to. And eventually, once we figure out where we're going to settle, we'll still always be members of Penn Coachman because that's family.
Right.
Again, we're never leaving that group. But once we settle someplace, we'll join another chapter based on where we are. But part of the international, which is the special interest chapters, there are a couple that I want to go talk to. And we don't know if we'll ever make the rallies, or maybe one a year if we're lucky, but it's just something that we want to be part of and help keep them going.
Yeah. I mean, I know that they have a NASCAR chapter. There's probably a golf chapter out there too.
And anybody can start a chapter too.
Right.
If somebody has an interest in what they want to start, recently there's been pickleball chapters started. You can do that. You just need a certain amount of people to get your chapter started. I don't remember the exact amount of F numbers. When you join, you get your own F number. That's your membership number. So they need a certain amount to get started. But the wonderful thing is too, is the people that work at FRVA headquarters are there to help us out. We started the RV Basics Alumni chapter a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice. And we got it started. We didn't know what we were doing, but I got to know Danielle at headquarters very well. We are now friends because if I had a question, I called her. She helped me through what we had to do. And everybody at FRVA is there just to answer questions. And that's another nice thing when we go, whether to the conventions or if we stop at their headquarters to spend some time with them. Everybody's there and happy to see us because, again, it's not people that just work there. They become your friends.
Right. Right. It's truly family.
Going back a little history, how FRVA started was buses converted, school buses converted. They're looking to try to possibly get a schoolies chapter started. If
Great.
you have a converted school bus, you could be part of your own special interest chapter. That's interesting to me. I'm not the type of person that would convert a school bus.
I'm not either.
I'd rather.
I'm not somebody that's going to travel with you in a converted school bus either.
But there are so many out there and so many different ideas because you start from a blank slate.
Right.
And what a great! I'd love to sit in on their meetings to see.
That would be fun. I would like that.
That'd be a good one. But that's what's nice about it. You have a special interest, you can do it. There's a Jeep chapter. Don't think of all the other ones that are out there. First responders. Go on and on.
Have y'all started the Alliance chapter yet?
No,
Not
because
yet.
starting one chapter was good for me for the time being. And you can only be an officer in 2 chapters at a time, and I'm already an officer in 2 chapters. So if I start an Alliance chapter, I'd have to start off by finding people that want to be officers. So that could be something down the road because that would be nice because Alliance is another group of family. And any brand that you go with, when you have that camaraderie because you have the same brand also.
So what's also nice about chapters, what's important about chapters, is that, as we mentioned, it is members working for the members. It's not a big corporation. We're a nonprofit. So how do you get your voice into what's happening? Each chapter has a national director. They are your voice into the entire governing board. So when we do our conventions, the national directors are the ones that are voting. So it's nice to have a say, and just join a chapter. And now you have a say.
That's it.
There's great benefits even if you don't join a chapter, but that's really the.
But you mentioned benefits. That's one thing I don't want us to forget to mention. There's a lot of discounts also and benefits of being a member of FRVA, and some of them don't save a lot of money. Some of them save a lot of money.
Right.
But some of them are just there as a type of insurance for you, just so you know you have somebody looking out for you if you have problems on the road too.
So speaking of benefits, there is FRVA Assist
With travel and medical assistance.
Yeah, that's FRVA assists travel medical assistance. There's the
And that is part of membership.
right.
Unlike a corporation that would charge you more for it, that's part of membership. It does not cost you any more.
It is part of the $99 a year membership.
That's correct.
That there are tire discounts. There is Tech Connect, which is the internet connection. The list of benefits is that long.
And it's always growing too, because there is a committee that works on benefits, and they're always looking for other ways for our members to save money.
And Gil, you know something? For me, I never looked at the FRVA for the benefits. I looked at it more for the education, quite frankly. But
everybody looks at something different. That's what's nice about it. It's got so much to offer. If it fits into everybody's lifestyle the way they need it to fit.
So, Steve, I see you brought a list of things. What's your cheat sheet over there?
Well, this is what we used when we went to the shows, the RV shows, so we don't forget it, because there's just so much to go through. But like I said before, if it's written down, you don't have to remember it.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is to go through this, is to go on to FRVA.com, and the benefits are listed on there. This is way too much to go through.
Yes, it is. It's way too much to go through for the podcast. But FRVA.com, and if you're in the Perry, Georgia area, March 18th through the 21st, come out, look us up. Steve, Gil, and myself will be there. Steve, you're part of the parking committee at Perry.
We're getting there early, and we will be directing people with their vehicles and where to park safely. And fortunately, they do it right. They said, have to have 2 parkers, and the driver knows how to operate the vehicle. We're going to tell you where we want it.
Yeah.
And it just works so smooth that way.
I have to say, every convention that I have attended, parking has been an absolute breeze. Yeah, Gillette, we were a little too close. I could reach out my window and ask my neighbors, pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? But really, these conventions, the chapter rallies, the get-togethers, I've got friends coming in here this week, just like Steve and Gil did, coming in to hang out until we all caravan over to Perry, Georgia.
Something we forgot to mention too at the conventions and sometimes at the area rallies is local dealerships come in with floor models for you to go and explore. At Perry, I think there's usually close to 50 RVs to wander in and look at. If you're just curious, or if you think that you do want to change your vehicle, you can purchase something there.
Yeah. Let's RV, that's something we need to talk about. If you're RV curious, the FRVA does offer a Pathfinder membership. Let's talk, Gil, maybe you can speak to that.
The Pathfinder membership is for somebody that does not have an RV yet, but plans to purchase one in the next few years. That's so you can be a member and have access to all of our education and all of our articles that are online, so you can do research. And you can also, as a Pathfinder, take advantage of all the discounts that we offer. One of the neat things that we tell people, the travel and medical assist is for any place around the world. You do not have to be in your RV. So if you're traveling in your car, and there's a problem, FRVA will step in to help you. The tire discount is not just for your RV, it's for any vehicle that anybody in your family owns. So a Pathfinder is somebody that just doesn't have an RV yet, but they know they're going to get one, and they want to take advantage of the great community there is to learn. I tell people, and they always laugh at me, the only thing is you can't run for office if you're a Pathfinder, and I think you can't vote. And they always laugh at us because they think we're not ready to be an officer anyways, so it's okay, but we'll get them later once they have an RV.
Yeah. If, like I said, if you're RV curious, come out to one of the international conventions. Um, after,
And join Facebook because there is, you mentioned RV Curious. There's a web page that's sponsored by FRVA called RV Curious, and it's for people that have questions because they're going to be purchasing an RV.
wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Great.
to interrupt you, but you mentioned RV Curious, and I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Because again, there's so much out there that FRVA offers to our members and potential members that you forget about some of the different benefits.
Each member, when they sign up, has the opportunity of allowing people to come visit them, can be called if you're in the area and need help, or will drive for you if you need to. These are just volunteer things. And we took advantage of that a couple years back. Somebody we met at the convention, it was at Perry a few years ago. And right after the convention, we ended up going into the town where he lived. And unfortunately, my wife was out for a convention after that weekend. And we both had lunch together. We just met the person, but they're family. And it was so nice. It helped us again.
Yes. I'll help anyone that has questions, just like Steve, I know you will, and Gil will too.
Yeah, not technical questions, but other questions. I'll help
Right.
out.
Right. So next week we've got over 100 seminars. We've got a whole lot of chapter gatherings. We've got a whole lot of good times and great fun.
Yes.
Any final thoughts for folks interested in maybe joining us next week in Perry with a day pass or joining the FRVA? Is there anything we want to tell my listeners about why they should join FRVA?
As I mentioned earlier about it used to be a motorhome club and it became a motorhome family. Now, no matter what type of RV you live in or use, you're part of the family. And family is the first name. And it just is so important. It really is.
Gil?
Yeah, I think it's everything that we've mentioned, really. It's just come and have a good time. Enjoy yourself. If you just like to socialize, meet new people, try something new. It might even just be a game or learn line dancing. I learned line dancing at an RV resort we were at recently and had a great time. Can't wait to do that. Just anything. There's just so much to offer. If you just want a really enjoyable experience, come and join us at Perry, or maybe in July, come to Sedalia, Missouri, and join us at our second one of the year.
Yep. So Sedalia, Missouri, the 1st through the 4th of July.
Sounds right.
It's America's 250th anniversary, and the Family RV Association's gathering in Sedalia to celebrate America's 250th. Gil, Steve, thank you both for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having us.
So hospitable.
We love FRVA, so we're always happy to talk about it, which we do, by the way, on the road. Steve has gotten people at gas stations talking about FRVA. So we carry literature and we tell people about it all the time.
And that's really, we've got to get the word out.
Yes.
Because one of the things I saw, and it really bothered me a little bit when I saw it on Facebook. The FRVA is the best kept secret in the RV world.
Yep.
And it should not be a secret.
No, it definitely should not be. It's there. It's just a great group to help everybody out and keep you safe and happy on the road.
Right. Any closing thoughts, Steve?
See you there.
See you there. Thank you for riding along with me today for this episode of the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast with a fellow traveler so more folks can find us out here on the road. You can find more stories, photos, and adventures over at wanderinggypsyrvlife.com. If you're looking for gear that helps keep your rig running right, check out Techno RV through my affiliate link at technorv.com. They really do help you adventure more and worry less. And if you enjoy cowboy storytelling and rodeo history, my good friend Doug Simcox hosts a great podcast called Beyond the Chutes, which is well worth a listen at beyondthechutes.show. If you'd like to dive deeper into the mindset behind this lifestyle, you can check out the Rolling Smooth RV book series at wanderinggypsyrvlife.com/rolling smooth. Until next time, keep your rig rolling smooth, keep your coffee hot, and remember, sometimes the best repair isn't just the one that fixes your RV. It's the one that quiets your mind. Safe travels, my friends. And remember, not all who wander are lost.
Safe travels.